Moin and Guten Tag. In this video I'll be showing you 3 different techniques to make amazing Neapolitan pizza at home using a cast iron like this. I was surprised. Have a look at how incredible this turned out. Non più tra I farfalloni amoroso, notte giorno di torno. Delicious, right? Now let me show you step by step how I got there. Some background on this video. In the previous video, I was showing how to make pizza on a steel, a stone, and then a custom pizza oven. I'm going to be linking that video right here and also in the description. Now then, one of you suggested that I should also try making Neapolitan pizza using a cast iron. And the idea sounded very promising. Using a steel and a stone, you don't get that proper charring from the bottom. Plus the edge was also a little bit too crispy. The idea with the cast iron is to cook the pizza a little bit on the stove and then transfer it to the oven. So yes, I had to try this right away and oh boy, the pizza was really good. I did 3 iterations in total and improved my technique step by step, and I will show you exactly what I did in this video. Now I'm not going to show you how to make the dough in this video. I made a full tutorial on this before, which I'll be linking right here. This video will just focus on the actual baking process. Let's get started with iteration 1. So my idea was to place the pizza in the cast iron, char it on the stove until I have a nice color from the bottom, and then take that whole cast iron and transfer it into the preheated oven as close to the broiler grid as possible. I will then remove the pizza from the oven the moment that I see that the edge of the pizza has a nice dark color.
I started by making the pizza balls. I made them weigh a little less. Normally I would go for 250 grams overall weight, but in this case I opted for around 200 grams per pizza ball. A common problem when cooking with a cast iron is that things are just sticking to it. I did some research, and what works very well is a little bit of olive oil paired with some semolina flour. Place the olive oil and then the semolina flour and make sure to spread that evenly across the cast iron. I took the measurements of the cast iron because I wanted to enjoy this very satisfying moment of my pizza pie fitting perfectly well into the cast iron. Then I just started shaping my pizza pie the way I always do it. This method is very easy and you can do it at home. It's probably not the fastest, but this one always gives great results. I don't want to waste your time too much, that's why I'm not showing it completely, but feel free to check out the full video that I linked before. I took measurements on the way, making sure that my pizza pie isn't too large. I then proceeded and placed the pizza pie in the oiled and semolina flour cast iron. Just like with the peel, you can adjust the final pie a little bit, just be very gentle. I made sure that the pie covered all the edges of the cast iron. It was a little bit of work, but it was okay. Also, I did not preheat the cast iron, so that also made it a little bit easier. On my next iteration, I would already make sure that I made the center of the dough a little bit thicker because yeah, I just overdid it a little bit too much. You can see right through the dough here. And I also had to stitch it at some point. I added my tomato sauce, spread it out in a spiraling movement. Then I added my mozzarella, in this case no buffalo mozzarella, regular mozzarella, fior di latte. I proceeded and added the basil. I always add a little bit of basil before the bake and a little bit of basil after the bake. This gives you this mix of different tastes, a little bit charred basil and then the fresh basil. Excellent. And then I covered this up with some olive oil, applying it in a spiraling movement. I preheated my stove to the maximum and placed the cast iron on top of it. I made sure to rotate the cast iron every 30 seconds. This way you will get that delicious charred bottom. After around 3 minutes, but this depends on your stove, you have to experiment on this value for yourself, I took the full pizza and transferred it to my preheated oven. In this case I'm having a stone, but you could just definitely also be using a tray. I made sure that the broiler function was activated. When the crust had the desired color, I removed the pizza from the oven and look at it still sizzling. Now comes the epic test. Is this going to come out of the cast iron? That's always so tricky. And please, yes. Nice. I'm finishing this up with a little bit of fresh basil, as you should always do, and then it's ready to be eaten. Delicious pizza. And the bottom of the pizza, nice charring, maybe a little bit too much.
And this brings us to iteration 2. I want to improve the amount of tomato sauce and olive oil I added. It was definitely a little bit too much. It was pretty much leaking already. Also, the cheese melted a little bit too much, not typical for a Neapolitan style pizza. So this time I'm going to be adding the cheese a little bit later. I will char everything on the stove, and when that is ready, only then I will be adding the mozzarella. Furthermore, I also overdid the charring a little bit, or at least I did not rotate the cast iron enough. So this time I will be placing the cast iron closer to the edge of the stove and rotate the cast iron more to make sure that I have more spreaded charring everywhere.
So yes, a little bit less tomato sauce this time. Just like on iteration 1, I will be adding a little bit of basil before the bake and a little bit of basil after the bake. I'm being a little more careful about the amount of olive oil that I'm adding this time. I am placing the cast iron closer to the edge of the stove, making sure I have even charring everywhere. Then afterwards I proceeded with adding the mozzarella. This way the mozzarella does not melt. I only want the mozzarella to melt in the oven. This dough is already looking so incredibly good. Perfect dough so far. I'm just hoping this is going to turn out amazing in the oven. Let's see. Back to the preheated oven, close to the broiler. And are you ready for it? Drum roll. Ah, beautiful. The cheese looks so much better. Let's just finish this off with a little bit of fresh basil and then it's ready to be eaten. Perfect.
Non più tra I farfalloni amoroso, notte giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando al riposo.
For iteration 3, there wasn't really that much to improve because iteration 2 was already amazing. However, I overdid charring on iteration 1, but on iteration 2 I didn't do it as much. It could have been 30 seconds or a minute more. So that's what I'm going to fix. Furthermore, I also still didn't have that nice leopard pattern that's typical for a Neapolitan style pizza. So for that I have a small blowtorch which I'm going to use to add that leopard style branding.
Instead of 3 minutes, I opted for 4 minutes, making sure that the bottom is properly charred. Then I used the blowtorch to sear the edge of the pizza a little bit, hoping to create that leopard pattern.
Non più tra I farfalloni amoroso, notte giorno di torno girano, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a dolcino d'amor, delle belle turbando al riposo, Narcisetto a dolcino d'amor.
I was really surprised how well this pizza turned out. The cast iron method definitely won over the pizza steel and the stone. The bottom of the pizza was truly amazing. The dough was very soft, exactly the way how it should be. I would say that iteration 2 and iteration 3 in this video have been equally as good. The blowtorch added a little bit of additional flavor, but I personally couldn't notice it that much. Plus, you also have to buy another tool. However, from a visual perspective, it definitely came closer to the original Neapolitan pizza. Give it a shot yourself and let me know how this works out for you. Side note, sorry for focusing so much on pizza in my recent videos. It's been my personal passion for a long time. Plus, I have really exciting news to announce. I will be going to Naples soon, Naples in Italy, and I will be interviewing a famous pizzaiolo. Pizzaiolo is the person that makes pizza on a day-to-day basis. I wanted to make sure that I refresh my pizza knowledge a little bit so that I don't look like a complete idiot. Now, if you have questions that you always wanted to ask the pizzaiolo, now is the moment to ask them. Please drop a comment in the comment section. I will be asking the top questions. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all the amazing comments. They challenge me all the time. That's a great way to become better. Thanks for answering all the other comments when I'm a little bit too lazy and too late. And yeah, thanks for all the support. You are all amazing. Happy baking and may the gluten be with you. This is quite, quite heavy.